Hello, hello.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood, and
Michelle McLennan. Hi, everybody.
Michelle McLennan. Welcome to those of you who are regulars, who settle in with us most Sundays when we hold these satsangs, and welcome to any of you who are new. And if you are new, can you please just tell us who you are and where you're watching from? And if you are a regular, we'd like to check in with you on the messages as well. So just say hi as well. And we also love getting the hearts. Thank you for that. And if you find value in what we have to share, and in the satsang, if we could ask you to press the like and the share button. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe and press the subscribe and the bell button. Please, if you can do that. It's really great. And tonight we're talking about
Imagination.
Imagination, the language of the soul. The language of the soul. It's also the language of power. And tonight we will give you.
That we're in right now.
Yeah, we'll give you some secrets and some tips regarding the power of imagination, using the power of imagination to transform your life. So stick with us. We're going to start this evening with an opening centering meditation. And then, do you have some astro to update? You do? Mm-hmm. Good. So Michelle's going to give us some of her astrological wisdom and insights. And then we will share some of our experience, wisdom, knowledge on imagination and the soul. And then Michelle will lead us out with a beautiful, one of her lovely, beautiful meditations, visualizations. So thank you for joining us tonight, and don't forget to press the like and the share button, and in the comments box tell us where you're watching from.
Hi,
Hello, Christine from a wild and woolly UK.
Snowy, I think, or has been snowy.
And America as well.
Yeah.
They've also got a lot of cold out there as well. So I don't know about this
We've
global
got
warming.
heat, yeah, but I mean, there's cold in other places.
Yeah, that's right. We have. We experienced global warming yesterday.
Yeah, just for the day.
Just for the day. And now we have some lovely cloudy, misty weather coming in. But it's still warm. It's still quite warm, yeah.
Hello, Birgit.
Hello, Birgit. Hi.
Hi, Caminda.
Hello, Caminda.
From Lisbon.
From Lisbon, yes.
Lovely to have people from all over the place, eh?
Yeah. And Bergen was from Ivy Garden Solution. Oh, no, that's... Who is that? I can't see that was. Bergen. Okay, yes. Oh, she's obviously there. Good, super. So welcome. Let's start this evening by centering ourselves into this reality, this time and this place.
Hi, Kerrigan. Nice to have you with us.
Having a look at just allowing a few more people to join. So while we're waiting, just bring your awareness into the room that you're sitting in, fully into the room that you're sitting in. And you might like to look around the room and just perceive the objects in the room. And then become aware of the consciousness which you are, which is witnessing the room. Be aware of the mind as it tries to label everything, but just become aware of the consciousness behind the mind that is labeling and judging the moment. You might like to shut your eyes for this short centering meditation. You can keep them open if you like. It's good to maybe light a candle. Candle helps focus attention as well. Closing the eyes, you withdraw your mind from the external world and just bring it inwards now. And just become aware of your physical body. Let's bring our attention fully into the right hand. Let's become aware of the fingers on the hand and the thumb. You might like to move them. You might like to run your thumb across the fingertips. Just become aware of the sensation of touch from your right hand. Bring your attention fully into your right hand and into the center of the palm. And see if in this moment you can become aware of a warmth and energy right in the center of the palm on your right hand. You have to be fully present to perceive this. bring our awareness now across to the left hand, acknowledging the fingers, the thumb. You might like to do the same, just draw your thumb across the fingers. Feel that sensation, the aliveness in your hands. And do the same as we did for the right hand. Bring your attention fully into the center of the palm. Become aware of the power point right in the center. You might feel it as a warmth. Now bring your hands, your left and right hand, up slightly, palms facing towards each other. And once more, just focus on that energy in the center of your palms and see if you can feel a play of energy between your hands. You might feel it almost like a rubber ball. As you move your hands in and out slightly, you might feel some resistance, some extra warmth, some energy. Let's try this exercise, and with your fingertips, see if you can feel the outside of this ball. So you're holding this chi ball, this energy ball, between your two hands, moving your hands slightly in and out. Now take this energy ball, this chi ball, bring your hands up and put that energy ball into your hearts. Feel this energy going into your heart. As received by the heart. And the heart amplifies and radiates this energy outwards. So bring your hands out now, out, out. And allow this energy to go out into the world. This is an energy now coming from the heart, an energy of love, of compassion, of kindness. And let's radiate this energy. And we might like to see it as a color, a radiant color, maybe a beautiful golden, yellow light, or green, or blue. Just radiate this energy out into the world. From your heart to the hearts of all of mankind. And now let's use the power of imagination to bring this energy into Mother Gaia, into the center of this beautiful planet, to her heart center, which is represented on the surface by the continent of Africa. Let's go beneath the soil of Africa, deep into the earth, to the beautiful heart of Mother Gaia. Let's bless Mother Gaia with our full attention and joyful gratitude for her abundance in our lives. All that we have in the physical plane comes from Mother Gaia. And now we bring our awareness up into Father Sky, the energy that radiates in from the cosmos, from our solar system and our central sun. And our sun receives its energy from a more central sun. And so we are children of the universe. We are the conduit between Father Sky and Mother Earth. We are an expression of the divine, a unique expression, a sacred expression, a miraculous expression of life. Bring your hands back to your hearts and just acknowledge this life, this precious life that we are in this moment. Take a very deep breath in now, very deep breath into the solar plexus. So you're pulling the air right the way in. Long out breath. Take another very, very deep breath in, right down to your toes this time. And as you breathe out, just withdraw your mind from all other times and all other places and just become aware of this beautiful expression of life, which is your body. Take another very deep breath in, right down to the toes, and this time up to the top of the head, and see this beautiful breath circulating through every single one of your cells, and then release release the need to control the breath. And let's just hand over the breathing to this intelligence we call life. This energy called life is there to guide us. It's there to protect us. And if we open to this energy of life itself, the energy of presence, we feel within our hearts our true being, our true state. And the feeling that we feel that goes with this is a feeling of gratitude. Gratitude just for the isness of this moment, here and now, in this satsang, on this Sunday evening, with these beautiful people. And we give thanks to the Divine for bringing us to this awareness that allows us to be here in satsang together tonight. Feel the love of Mother Gaia, the love of Father Son. And know that you are so very, very precious as a unique expression of the cosmos. Take another deep breath in. And release it. Let it go. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. Now take another look around the room and just see if the objects in your room have shifted. Maybe they've softened a little bit in your awareness. Maybe you've softened. Maybe they look more beautiful. Maybe a bit more grateful for what you see in this moment. So thank you for joining us.
Just lovely.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see there. Jacqueline says the screen's gone black. I don't know if anyone else is having that issue. Can somebody give us a message and just let us know? Seems fine this side.
Yep.
Okay, we'll just keep going.
Yeah. If we seem to be okay, just type up a comment and let us know that you
Thumbs
can
up.
see and you can hear us. Yeah. Okay,
Must
that's
be
fine.
on your side,
All
Jacqueline.
good. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what's happening in the
Thank you for
stars?
that. Big happening in the stars.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the age of
Aquarius. It's the dawning of the age of Aquarius. It is.
Yeah.
So
maybe I'll get my hair back. Hey?
So yesterday and today, the Sun and Pluto moved into Aquarius together. And obviously the age of Aquarius is a very long entrance because the ages are 2,000 years old. But a lot of people, most people are actually seeing this as the ushering in of the age of Aquarius. But your meditation was perfect there because whenever you look at a point in astrology, you always look at the opposite. So if the Sun and Pluto move into Aquarius, then you look at the opposite where it releases. And the opposite is Leo, which rules the heart and creativity and imagination. So it's really, really about this time, that we've all been going through over the last few years, particularly intensely. It's been happening for a long time, but particularly intensely over the last few years, is the deconstructing of the old, the crumbling of the old, if you like, and that's in our own lives and in the lives of the collective, in our governments, in our systems. Everything is the old doesn't work anymore, and so it's changing. And so the ushering in of Pluto into Aquarius at the same time as the Sun is very, very powerful. So it's a very transformational time, and it's not just the day that it moves in. So it's for the next few weeks. It's still going to be very active, and it's really this. I think this year with this huge movement, because Pluto has a 248-year cycle, and it's the planet of transformation. And the last time it was in Aquarius, we had the French Revolution. We had there was the French and the other one, two major revolutions. So American Revolution, I think it was, yeah. So It's the energy of revolution in the sense of everybody actually coming together, the people coming together. And it's in the sign of Aquarius, which is very much about energy, which is very much about what energy are we putting out into the world. What are we imagining? What is our vision for the new earth? And the more of us that can do this and can stand together in circle, or sit together in circle, or even just in different parts of the world, come together with a similar vision, it's very, very, very powerful. So, John and I turn up whenever we can on a Sunday, but this sort of needs to go further now. It needs to become bigger, because we are moving into a new earth, and we're the ones that are imagining it in. We're dreaming it in.
Yeah.
We're literally dreaming it in right now, with each word we speak, with each movement we make, with each action we take. And so as soon as stuff comes up from our past that needs to be cleared, it's because we're clearing so that we can actually plant new.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm seeing
That's
it.
very true.
It's very
yeah.
powerful. And then this week, on the 25th, we have a new moon in the sign of Leo, which is very much about creativity, co-creativity. It's a full moon.
Full moon.
Yeah. And it's powerful because it's still aligned with Pluto, the planet of transformation. So it's co-creating. It's living from the heart. That's what I'm seeing this as bringing in, ushering in. Yeah. Not living from the head, living from the heart.
Yeah.
Living from a more heart-centered place.
Yeah. And we've been programmed really to live from the head, haven't we? Very much from the head.
That's been championed.
Yeah, for many years, for many generations, for many thousands of years, it's been all about the head. We've been in this in the Kali Yuga, dipping into what's called the Iron Age, what was called the Iron Age, for about 2,400 years of moving away from the light, and now we're moving back towards the light again. Thank goodness. Thank goodness, yes. Yeah. And it's interesting because the head can and is controlled. It's controlled by our socialization from our parents, from our peers. It's definitely controlled by our education, by our media, etc., etc. And just something when you were speaking earlier about the systems crumbling, and I came across a survey today. So it's been done for the last few years, 4 years, I think it is, on the media. And the question given was, do you trust the media? Or is the media trustworthy? Yeah, and just the UK, for example, came stone last among all the European countries for people trusting the media.
4 years in a row.
4 years.
And that was I watched as well as John Cleese.
Yeah, he was talking about it.
Leaving.
Yeah,
He's leaving the UK.
But I mean, it's not the UK. Although the UK came last in trust of media, I think even the one that came first is still very poor, probably, because the media generally is part of the old world, a part of the systems of control and mind manipulation. And so it's becoming quite obvious now that these old systems haven't been set up to serve humanity's highest good. They've been set up generally to serve the egoic personalities of certain limited percentages of the population. And so as they crumble, so other systems crumble and go with them. And we've seen that recently in the health crisis and the crumbling of trust in the medical world, for example. And I think we have that coming in the financial world, and we have that coming, in South Africa, we have it in the trust in the Eskom, the electrical supplier, for example. And these are all things which are crumbling. But they are all based on mind and on head. And this shift that we're going through now, and particularly this year is a pivotal year for it, is to start trusting the heart. And we can, the head is normally about setting goals and drawing on the past and looking to the future. We can still, and that's what's called the horizontal plane, we can still participate in the horizontal plane, but now we start to use it from the heart, or start to work with those energies from the heart. And one of the energies which we want to talk about tonight is the power of imagination. Power of imagination. Yes, imagination does influence definitely the horizontal plane of matter, of physical events, situations, circumstances that we meet in our life. And in the past, this power of imagination, I believe, has been manipulated through the mind, through programming, predictive programming in education, for example, media, films, TV games, computer games. And now is the time to take back the power of the imagination and bring it as a servant of the heart. So we start to use the heart to imagine that which is in alignment with the heart's highest wishes. Where the mind is always normally about me, mine and my, and it's normally about fear and about protection and about self-aggrandizement. The heart knows none of that. The heart is a portal of consciousness of oneness. So it's not about the individual, but it's about what's good for the collective. The individual remains, yes, and the individual is important, but we do it in service of a greater good. And as we start to do that, so we will increase the prosperity on this planet like never before. I can see beautiful times ahead, but we have to become masters of our mind and start to focus the tools that we have to create through the heart rather than through the fear-based head. And I'm leading up to this point. This is a very important point, is that basically the power of imagination has been perverted, has been co-opted by certain individual power groups, and media and education has been their tool. So generally people imagine a world based on what the media is telling them. And I'm going to suggest that now is the time to take back and reclaim our power and start creating the world that we want rather than the world that the media wants us to believe in. For example, just one example. And that's the power that we have. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that the new vision that we're envisioning has never been here before. We're envisioning something completely new. So it's not coming from the media. It's not coming from outside influence. It's not coming from school, teachers, anything. It's coming from the collective. It's coming from the heart. It's coming from the place where we know that or that we acknowledge that we are interconnected with everything, with every single blade of grass, with every single tree, with every single animal, with every single other human being. It's coming from a completely different place. It's not hierarchical. It's not this, he's on top and he or she's at the bottom. This is actually the collective that we're actually imagining in something brand new. So there's no guidelines, there's no book, there's no study course. It's up to us to actually create what we want to see in the world. Do we want to see our children free? Do we want to see our grandchildren free? Do we want to see them creating, dancing, singing, loving nature, loving each other? Or do we want to see control? So it's whatever we want to actually see, that's the vibration to hold, so that we emit that into the world and into the new, because we're literally making it now.
Yeah, and I mean the quote that is very popular and has gone around for many years now from Albert Einstein, that imagination is more powerful and more important than knowledge, because knowledge points to all that was, and imagination points towards what could be, what is possible for us to create. So it's really again stripping away the mind's important role that it has played in the past and coming into the vertical plane. Now the vertical plane is connected to the essence of life, and we might call that spirit. So this imagination that we are suggesting tonight, that can really lead us into a new plane of experience, a new world, a new earth, is not coming from the mind with its past experiences and its future projections, but coming from spirit. And how do we connect more with this incredible intelligence called spirit? You can call it intuitive awareness. We do it by becoming present, by emptying our mind of all thoughts, all emotions, all attachments, all preferences, all judgments, and sitting as we are tonight in satsang, in quietness. And in that quietness we find the space between our thoughts. And in that space between our thoughts we are given, literally given, the seeds of the new earth, because there are energies around us at the moment that are there to help us birth this new earth into existence. But it has to come through us, and our job is to become empty and open and allow these seeds of inspiration to be inspired, to come through us and to guide our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings and our actions. And that's really the energy astrologically that you're talking about now, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And this is a long process. I mean, the transformative process I'm talking about with Pluto is a 20-year process. So the seeds that we're planting now are going to have very long roots. They're going to actually, it's a long process. It's not a short process. So that's why it's so important that where we're focusing our energy now. I think we're also very used to being, sort of having imagination tied to, I think John mentioned, to goals and to, you know, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that and then I'm going to do that. And that's shifted. It doesn't work like that anymore. So it's almost that we are making it up as we go, because we need to feel into the energy as the energy arrives. Yeah. It's no longer absolutely possible to say that's my 5-year goal and these are the steps I'm taking, because things are changing so rapidly, and they actually this year accelerated change, like huge change. So you can't actually get too focused on one particular outcome. It's almost got to be like a child. When you watch a child play, it's just them making it up. It's this, and then that leads to that, and that leads to that, and that's how it's growing. That's how it's manifesting. It's not manifesting in a logical linear sequence. That's more mind, whereas this is actually it's more organic. It's actually an allowing of something new to come from this. So I was speaking to someone today, and we were saying, you know, holding the vision lightly, but then allowing change to come in, allowing flow to come in. Because if you hold it too rigidly, you might just miss that actually needs to come in. And for me, that's imagination. Allowing yourself to be flexible enough to change things and to not get too stuck on one thing, because then you're actually you're trying to determine the outcome.
Yeah. And a very important aspect of imagining a new earth into existence is not to look at what you think is possible, but to believe in miracles. In other words, don't look at the steps you need to take to get anywhere. Look at that outcome. Look at that beautiful place you would like yourself and your children and your grandchildren to experience. And focus on that. And don't worry about the how. Don't worry about the how. The universe will support you. It was supporting us all. The problem is, in the past we focused too much on what we didn't want, and that's what we gave energy to. But now is the time we need to focus our energy very acutely in the direction we want to go. And one of the most important aspects of this is in feeling. That is, in fact, the secret of creation. So before you start to imagine something, see what feeling you would like to experience. What feeling you would like to have as your moment-to-moment experience. Not a brief, like happiness, for example. Well, that's normally a very brief experience, because happiness is normally reliant on external circumstances being the way that your ego thinks they should be, so that you can get your needs met. So happiness is a very brief experience. So I don't suggest that we focus too much on happiness, but there are other feelings deeper and more eternal than happiness. And if we start to focus on that and let the imagination rise up to that frequency of vibration, and then we start to imagine, yes, the physical circumstances, relationships around us in alignment with that higher feeling. And the higher feelings are all connected to spirit. They're all connected to what we call the vertical plane. They're all connected to being.
Absolutely. And if you hold that, not hold it, but if you embrace that feeling more and more, that feeling then grows, and that then assists you in manifesting whatever it is on the outside world. But whether or not you manifest it on the outside world doesn't matter, because you've still got the feeling. So it's actually focusing on what, as John said, what we do want, And I think that a lot of us get into a pattern of sort of speaking about things that we don't want. You know, this is terrible. Look what's happening on the earth. This is awful. What are we going to do about this? We're terrified of that. And we've just got to be cognizant of what we're saying, because our words have power. Our thoughts have power. So how can we actually be co-creators in this new earth? And it's to actually step into our own sovereign power as co-creators. So we don't step into that in a, well, maybe if it could. It's actually more of a conscious choice of where we're actually sending our energy. I'm reading a beautiful book. Many years ago I went to Findhorn in Scotland, and a book that I was given at the time was The Magic of Findhorn, which kind of affirmed that I should go. And a couple of weeks ago, a friend of ours found the book and gave me the book, and I started reading it again 25 years later. And just listening to how, for example, Findhorn started and how they actually manifested an incredible place, which has helped hundreds of thousands of people over the years. One of the founders, Peter Caddy, when he said that he wanted to manifest something, somebody would say, but if that happens, that'll be really nice. And he was of the persuasion, Peter Caddy, of no, it's not if, it's when it happens. I know it's going to happen. It's just when it's going to happen. And it's a difference. It's if it happens, how's it going to happen? But how are we going to make it happen? And by holding the energy of no, it is happening. It's in process of happening. We might not be able to see it yet, but it's actually happening already. It was much more of an empowered way of actually forming something which they didn't actually have a vision for at the beginning. They allowed it to organically grow. So it's just an example of where somebody leads with that example of what are we saying, what are we affirming? Are we affirming lack? Are we affirming fear? Or are we affirming abundance and endless, infinite supply? And we get stuck into that fear-based place because the media tells us to, other people tell us to, so we land up getting into a rut of saying the same thing over and over again and affirming what we don't want. Because affirmations are very powerful. So every time we speak, I'm sick and tired of, we're imagining being sick and tired. Or I'm fearful of the future, we're feeding into fear of the future. That's imagination too.
Yeah, I haven't read that book, The Magic of Findhorn, but I do intend to read it when you've finished it. But I'm absolutely sure that Peter Caddy had an absolute certainty, that what they were doing was in alignment with the will of spirit, of life, and that it was going to happen. There was absolutely no doubt. I haven't read the book, but
they didn't have an end vision. They just knew that what they were doing needed to be done, and that it would evolve into what it needed to evolve into, and that all they needed to do was show up and give it their energy and be present for it, and be still and listen was the other element of it, and know that they were all interconnected. So that's in one small place in the north of Scotland, but it's an example that I think that can be set for many of us as we move into this new earth, which none of us know what it's going to look like. So we are discovering it as we go, and that's imagination. It's discovery. It's allowing it to just evolve into something. Oh, there's this. Okay, now how do we improvise that into that? So it's almost going back into that childlike place.
The innocence and the trust,
The innocence. And
so we're doing a little bit of that in our own small way. We started an intentional community. It's called Nourish Spiritual Farm in the Garden Route. And we haven't got a clue how we're going to do what we have intended to do, but we know it's going to happen. We know that the feelings that we hold now are going to grow and they are manifesting. There's absolutely no way that they can't. So we are creating a small aspect of the new earth here with every action that we take, with every day that we live. We are in fact envisaging a new way of being in the world. And we can do it in small little ways. You know, great things are always achieved by small steps taken consciously. Small steps taken consciously. And one of the small steps that we can do with the power of imagination, and you were talking earlier about the judgmental mind and looking at what's wrong always, is try this. Tomorrow morning when you wake up and you first see yourself in the mirror, look at what the mind does. The mind will judge how you look. It'll look at maybe the wrinkles or the hair that's not right, or the nose that's too big, or the lips that are too thin or too fat, or whatever. Just be aware that the mind does that. Now I want you to look deeper. I want you to see the beauty and the magnificence and the radiance in your own face. See it. And if you can't see it with your physical eyes, see it with your spiritual eyes. See that you are a divine radiance of God, of nature, of the universe. See that you are in fact the aspect of God manifesting in human form, in your unique way. If you go into a forest, there are many, many different trees. Every tree is perfect in the way that it is. No two trees are alike. No two humans are alike. And there's no right and wrong tree, and there's no right and wrong human. Your face is made perfectly for you. Perfect in every way. And just see that perfection and experience it through the power of imagination as this radiant being of divine miraculous unfoldment. See that in the mirror. That's a small little step you can take. Now you start doing that every single time you see yourself in the mirror, and you will find the molecules, the cells in your face will change to start reflecting that love, that glow, that life will come back into your face. Just a conversation I heard earlier today. The one chap was talking about a thesis that he did. He was studying architecture, and he was doing some thesis on maintenance on buildings, and he found that buildings that were loved and occupied had far fewer maintenance issues.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that was just like he had nothing to do. He was just doing his thesis in architecture. So bodies that are loved and occupied will also need less maintenance. When I say occupied, how much of your day are you physically in your body? We started this evening with a meditation where we occupied our hands. But how much of the day do you occupy your body? How much of the day do you occupy your feet and your legs and your arms and your cheeks and your torso? And how much of the day do you leave the body and go into a story, an imagined past or an imagined future? And I'm going to suggest that the more we inhabit our body with our full awareness, the more enlivened and the less maintenance our body is going to need. So that's another motivation for this power of presence that we teach. And now comes the secret of imagination. The secret of imagination is in the feeling. The secret to creation is in the feeling. So now we spoke earlier about aligning your feelings with the vertical plane. What are the feelings of the vertical plane from which the new earth can be born, from which the new earth can be molded and envisioned into reality? What words would you say?
Love.
I think love is probably the most important word that we can use to point us in the right direction.
I'd say connection.
Love comes from the heart.
I'd say connection.
Connection, yes.
Interconnectivity.
Yeah. If you have any words that you could think of, type them up in the comments box and let us know what you think. Joy, kindness, compassion. These are all words that come to me. They're aligned with spirit. They're aligned with spirit. And spirit, by the way, is timeless. So any words, for example, the word of hope. I heard someone use it in that session this afternoon. Hope relies upon time. It needs time. And spirit doesn't need time. Spirit is omnipresent. So the words that we use to point us in the right direction, to point us towards the feelings of real empowerment, come from the timeless plane of presence, the vertical plane. Thank you.
Yeah,
gratitude.
Gratitude's one of the easiest, actually, because you can always be grateful for something.
Yeah.
You can wake up in the morning and you can be filled with worries and anxieties, and then you can go into gratitude of of the cushion that you've got resting your head on,
Yeah.
and the bed that you're sleeping on. And you can actually find and elicit the energy and vibration of gratitude very easily.
Yeah.
So it's one of the most accessible. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it just opens your heart, doesn't it, Jacqueline?
Does.
And forgiveness.
Yeah, Jacqueline says forgiveness there. And it's, how do you know that you have forgiven? Is when there's nothing but gratitude in your heart for every experience that you've ever had. The difficult ones are your greatest teachers. So not to hold gratitude for your greatest teachers is doing a disservice to the intelligence called life. So yeah, forgiveness is very, very important, and to realize that forgiveness is not something you do to someone else. It's clearing your mind, your very own blockages to life and to love, and to come back to that state of beingness. And gratitude is a state of beingness, isn't it? Freedom, peace, yes.
Loving
that's
these
right.
words, yeah.
Yeah.
Freedom, peace, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's right.
Any more?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Because those are, that is how we create the new. That
Yeah.
is how we imagine in the new.
Yeah.
We don't imagine in the new by focusing on what's wrong. It just doesn't work, because then we're imagining more of what's wrong. So if we hold the energy of freedom, peace, joy, gratitude, we can only manifest that. We can only emit that. It's a ripple. And I think in the next 20 years we're going to know for a fact, it's going to be less than 20 years, that we are all interconnected. And when you work in a group dynamic, you can see it. It's evident that
So many mirrors.
that there's mirrors and interconnections, and far beyond our brain, of how these interconnections work and how healing works, and how healing, a very difficult situation can be healed in an instant with just opening your heart, and it's all gone. You know, the mind will tell you, no, that's not possible. It's going to take you at least 10 years to heal that situation. It can be healed in an instant, because there's an open-heartedness, and the vibration changes, and the situation changes. So, inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration, that's a beautiful one, because, you know, part of this, the new earth, yes, is imagining and then taking action in whatever way you can. Small action, tiny little action. But if that action is motivated by fear, as most action has in the past, people go to church from fear, people eat the right food from fear, people become educated from fear. That's all fear-based, and that ultimately pays the price of fear. But when you start to work small little ways in alignment with the vertical plane, for example, inspiration, that is coming from to be inspired is to be at one with spirit. Enthusiasm is another one. To be enthused means to be inhabited by gods, by that beautiful spirit. So with every action we take, we can be mindful, are we doing this in a state of gratitude or in a state of resentfulness?
And resistance.
Are we doing it with resistance? Are we doing it with acceptance? We spoke about that in last week's Satsang. Are we doing it through inspiration, through enthusiasm, through the joy of life, through the abundance of what life is giving me in this moment? So just be mindful of the small little actions that we take, and just to check that is this action I'm taking right now in alignment with the vision that I hold for the new earth. That's important.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. Thank you for all your words. They're beautiful. That if we start each day with that practice of gratitude, the practice of imagining the day and imagining how we're going to feel in that day, then that then becomes bigger. So if you do one day and then another day and then another day, the energy builds. And the more people that are doing that, the bigger the energy. And the bigger the energy, the faster the change. And that's up to us. It's called an interior locus of control. It's not outside. There's no person on a white horse coming to save everyone. It's us that are actually going to create this. So how do we do that? We stand together. We do this. We meet. And this is not nothing. this little group of people that meet on a Sunday is very powerful, as is every group that's very powerful. If you can get a group together that sort of sits in quietness for 10 minutes at a certain time and a certain day, that's very, very powerful. You don't have to be in the same room. You don't have to be living in a community. You can actually create that in your community, in your neighborhood, with your family. So I believe that this is the time where we get to step into the role of what should you call it? Initiators, Imagineers. I love that word, Imagineers. Imagining this new earth, this new world, this new thing.
Yeah, we're pioneers in a new way of living, a new way of being. The old world of imagination focused very much, for example, on objects, on things. People would imagine what they didn't want and they imagine what they did want. But all of those create feelings inside them. So, for example, one can use the power of imagination to imagine yourself lying on a tropical island and, you're sun-tanned and you've got lovely drinks around you and all the food that you want, etc., with lovely partner. You can use the imagination to create in your mind those physical circumstances. But physical circumstances come and they go. So you're not going to maintain that level of feeling if it's dependent upon situations and circumstances, events and people that are in transition. So now we're going to start envisaging using the power of the new earth, which is in the vertical plane. So we're going to focus on the feelings. We're going to imagine living in those feelings, living in love, living in joy, living in peace. That's what we're going to use, the power of imagination. And that ripples out. And it influences the world that we meet tomorrow. It influences situations and circumstances, events and people that we meet with that vibration of gratitude, of joy, of fulfillment. But we're no longer reliant upon those physical circumstances to bring us those feelings anymore. That's the real power of imagination in what's called the fifth dimension, compared to the fourth dimension, which is very much based with time. Fifth dimension is the transcendence of time.
I think just another word that goes into that is freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Absolutely,
Freedom.
Freedom is a present tense feeling.
When we envisage going on holiday and lying on the beach, it's a feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
It's very often, it's that liberated feeling. And we're liberating ourselves from the past.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah. And if any of you would like to go deeper into what we've spoken about tonight, on the 8th of February, we start a free 7-day online course, and it's called
Vision 24.
Vision 2024. It's the first week of a 13-week online journey to freedom. It's about the 15th one we've run now, isn't it? About the 15th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about the 15th one we've run. And we always start out with a free module, free week. And if you go to journeysofawakening.com, you can sign up for the free week. We'd love you to join us for the whole 13 weeks, but we offer you the first week free, so you can join us for that. And even if you've done the course before, do it again. Come and join us for that free week.
Yeah, and this year is quite profound because of the power that I'm been talking about with Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is basically liberation and freedom, and co-creation and collaboration and energy and all of that we've been talking about. So whether you join us for a week or 13 weeks, you'll benefit something from it.
Yeah, well, even those of you who have done the full 13 weeks with us before, and I can see a number of you have, doing it again now with this energy that's coming through the planet at this time will change your whole perspective of what the course is. We've had quite a few people in the past who've done the second time and third time, and they say, well, it's definitely not the course they did last time.
It's the same course. But it's not
because
the same.
You've shifted. But this time,
is different.
Yeah, but this time the energy that you're dealing with this year is a springboard to a whole new level of awakening.
And I think just whether it's our course or whether you do someone else's course, I think community is a key this year and going forward. So form a community. Whether it's in your circle of friends, whether it's about community, it's about building community and standing together as the people and finding our power as the people. That's what we're moving into. So, yeah.
It is very much about community. The way forward in the new Earth is no longer centralized government or nuclear. It's community. Absolutely certain it's community.
Yeah. And it's sustaining ourselves as community, I believe as well.
It is, yeah. And I'm just going to say, and where we have moved on to now, we've just recently built this new home, and we're off the grid. We have all the power that we have here is all solar, and we have own water from rainwater, and it's so nice to be liberated from those old systems of control as you have in the cities. Lovely, and we have a lovely community, and we're building a lovely community as well. It's beautiful. So thank you. Would you like to lead us out?
I will.
Thank you.
I can just lean forward a bit because my voice gets a bit soft.
Yeah, and then we have a lovely affirmation which will help guide you into this state of envisaging and imagining a new earth into being.
What's that one here? Just okay. Okay. All right. So let's just shut our eyes. Take a deep breath in. And a releasing breath out. Take another deep, beautiful breath in. And now on the out breath, let it all go. Let go of anything that you don't need right now. Long out breath and another third in breath, deep in breath. Feeling the air coming in through your nose and filling up your lungs. And then releasing it all on the out breath. Long, slow out breath. Just feeling your body start to relax. Dropping your shoulders. Putting your shoulders back a little bit so your heart is open. And feeling yourself dropping into this place of presence, into this precious present moment. Giving yourself a break from the demands of the mind, and allowing yourself to just drift for a while in this peaceful, open place. As you feel yourself coming to stillness, maybe coming to peace, get a sense of what the color is of this feeling that you feel right now. And surround your heart with that color. There might be a word associated with how you'd like to feel going forward. If there is a word, place that in your heart. Now just allow that word, that color, to radiate out from you. With the affirmation that we have for you tonight, which is, I believe in miracles. Feel what that feels like. Feel what those words feel like inside you. I believe in miracles. Let that energy, the miraculous energy, ripple out from each one of us into our neighborhoods, our families, our communities, our countries, and out from there. Let's just stay in this place for a little bit longer. sinking into this beautiful, beautiful, peaceful, quiet, still, loving energy. This peace that is always here, no matter what's going on in the outside world. We can always return to this. I believe in miracles. Connecting with your breath. As you breathe in and out, take a deep breath in. And relaxing, releasing breath out. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Wasn't that beautiful? Thank you for being with us tonight. And just before we end, I just want to give a plug to someone who has been a great positive influence in my own transformation, and I think in both of our lives, Mr. Eckhart Tolle, and he is visiting South Africa in a few weeks' time, and if any of you haven't booked yet and would like to see him, I'm sure the tickets are available online if you Google it. But you know, he is. Yeah, we're going to see him in Cape Town on the 4th, but I think he's in Pretoria as well.
I think so.
Pretoria and Cape Town. So if you didn't know about it, well, now you do know. And if you can't find the link, I can send it to you. But really, he's just such a light in the world, and has. I know when they did that survey a few years ago, he was
one of the.
Yeah, he was number one spiritual teacher in the world. You may have your own preferences, but he really has made such a profound difference in my life, and I know in your life as well. And then in closing tonight, just urge you right now to listen to Imagine by John Lennon. So just Google that. Beautiful. I mean,
listen
the words,
to those words.
Just so powerful.
Prophetic.
So powerful.
Yeah.
So maybe you'd like to just go onto iTunes or whatever you are, and have a listen to Imagine. It's an old song. I mean, how many years old is that?
Very old.
But very, very powerful. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Everyone.
We love you all, and we'll see you next week.
Love you.
Lots of love. Thank you.